Hey guys, this is Garrett Wong, also known as Ensign Harry Kim from Star Trek Voyager, and you're watching Astronomy Live.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Stop.
Hi folks, welcome to Astronomy Live. It's an early morning. We're going to be tracking the International Space Station. Right now the telescope is pointed at the bright star Vega, which the space station will actually be flying right by. I'm not sure if it'll land in the field of view, possibly not, because we are at very high magnification here, and we're going to be tracking with SatTraker. I believe the link to SatTraker, the source code is available in the video description already. If not, I'll put it in afterwards. But anyone who joins as a channel member, if you click that join button and join as a channel member, you'll also get exclusive access to a pre-compiled version of SatTraker, an executable file that you can run right away without having to install Python. So in just a few minutes, the space station will be rising over the horizon, and at 6:07 Eastern Time, it will be reaching a point that I can start tracking it. Unfortunately, this pass goes through the meridian line between the zenith point and the due north point on the horizon. And if you draw a line between the zenith and due north, that is a line that my telescope cannot cross in altitude azimuth mode. It will automatically perform a chord untangle maneuver because it's bending around itself to try to reach that position. So I have to wait for the space station to cross that line, because the best part of the pass will be after it crosses that line, about 45 seconds thereafter. So we're going to have a relatively short pass here. I have to wait for it to cross that due north line and then lock onto it. We will have probably about 2 minutes or so of good viewing available at best. We'll see what we get. It will hit the trees at some point in the east as it crosses the sky, but it will reach a point in the sky about 65 degrees high, so it should be relatively decent. The atmosphere is pretty turbulent right now, as you can tell by the star, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But everything's ready to go, and yeah, now we just wait a few minutes for it to rise. So let me make sure. If you guys can hear me in the chat, please say something so that I can know that everything is working okay. Looks like people are seeing it in the chat. Okay, sounds good. All right. So while we wait the next few minutes, I'm going to play a little video that I prepared to address some of the criticism my software has received recently. Here's some previously recorded footage of the space station, tracked by my SatTraker software and LX200 telescope. This footage was image stabilized in post by some additional software that I wrote for that purpose. But lately my software has come under attack from other individuals who will not be named, but I do want to address their criticisms and point out where they're wrong.
Another example, Astronomical Lies brags about programming code for a telescope to track stars or something. And it turns out that his tracking is actually a script kiddie mesh of code, not code indicative of the level he claims to be, due to the fact that his program wasn't tracking the specific star or specific thing. It was just being targeted on something and using some kind of code to be able to try to keep a track of it, and would constantly be shifting and moving away.
Okay, first of all, script kiddie? No, I wrote the code myself. Secondly, the tracking is actually based on the orbital elements of the space station or whatever satellite you're tracking. Initially, when you start tracking the satellite, it's purely based on those orbital elements. The red box indicates where the main telescope is pointing. The blue box is my cursor. you can see the space station rising above the trees. Even before I've clicked onto the space station to lock onto it, you can see it is in the red box. That's because my program really is running on the orbital elements of the space station and using those elements to predict the current coordinates of the station in the sky. The program is then doing its best to keep the telescope centered on those predicted coordinates. The station is then visible in this viewfinder camera, and it allows me to then click on it using the blue box to designate it as a target. That allows the program to then issue corrective factors that keep it centered in the view, even at very high magnifications. That allows me to film the space station up close through the telescope completely hands-free. Once I click on it, the program then generates a green box around where it sees the target in the image, and it will work to keep that target centered in the red box, allowing me to film the space station at very high magnification. The source code to SatTraker is freely available on GitHub, and you can find a link to that in the video description. Additionally, all channel members have exclusive access to compiled executables of my programs, including SatTraker. I'm now going to scroll through the source code while I allow this critic to describe it for you, and you can decide for yourself if his descriptions are accurate.
And he, as a hobbyist, programs these tiny scripts to work on astronomy. And he, as a hobbyist, programs these tiny scripts to work on astronomy.
Alright, so the space station is above horizon at this point, just coming out of Earth's shadow, and I'm going to start looking for it and get ready to lock onto it. Okay, we were pointed at the star Vega, but I'm now getting closer to where I need to be for the telescope to see it. Oh yeah. Alright, I see the space station coming up, so now I just wait for it to cross the due north line to be able to start tracking. So, pretty exciting. We should be able to see... Sorry, gotta move the microphone there a little bit. We should be able to see the Crew 1 module docked to the station. Oh wow. There's something flying alongside the space station. Now, it's going to be too far from the space station to fit in the same field of view, unfortunately. But I might be able to separately lock onto it. I wonder what that is. There's something just ahead of the space station. I can see it by eye. Alright, someone in the chat, let me know what just recently is about to dock or undocked from the space station. Maybe they deployed a satellite or something. Alright, so we're getting to the point in just a moment where it will cross the due north line at just about 6:07 a.m. Wait for it, wait for it. All right. I think I'm clear to start tracking. All right. There she is. Very nice. You can see Crew Dragon on the right side of the station. Whatever that is flying in front of the station isn't even quite in the viewfinder camera, so I can't lock onto it, unfortunately. If I can see it now. No. Still don't quite see it. Alright, we're about to hit the tree line, so that's about to be it. Yeah, we're into the trees now. That's it. So yeah, not a bad little brief, but very exciting view of the space station, along with something flying in front of it. I wish I could have locked onto that, but it was too far from the station to be in the field of view, and it was even a little bit too far to fit in the viewfinder camera, because my viewfinder camera is even too zoomed in on that. Let's see. But I am going to look it up because I am curious if there's anything that recently departed the station or is about to arrive at the station. Is the Cygnus module still attached? I guess it is. I don't see any departure there. Is there a progress module coming or going? That was just a month ago. What in the world was flying in front of the station today? It's a mystery, folks. It's a mystery. I should have locked onto it if I could have, but I couldn't. Literally couldn't because of the configuration of the viewfinder. I'm located in Florida, and this was all filmed with an 8-inch LX200 Classic with my SatTraker software. You saw both in camera, but they're just blobs. Oh, hey, Sam. Yeah, I don't know what that was in front of it. I'm glad you got to see that, too. There was definitely something flying in front of the station this morning. Let me see if I can find anything on Space Ref. Yeah, and unfortunately, I have to admit, I failed to start recording on the camera until midway into the pass, so I missed the first part of the pass, recording on the camera itself. But we got to see it on stream here, and honestly, this pass opportunity wasn't ideally configured because it did pass to the north, which is not what I like to see, and that cut down the amount of time I could get on the station. But nevertheless, like I said, sufficient for a live stream here on YouTube, so quite fun. Let me see if I can... There. Okay, so there's a replay image from what I did record on the camera. So you can see a nice reflection off the radiators. You can see the Crew Dragon hanging off the end there on the top right corner, sort of top side of the station in the image. That's quite nice. The solar arrays were also backlit this morning. That's the other thing that was not ideal about this particular pass. Because it passed to the north and then went off to the east, and because it's early morning, the sun was essentially beyond the space station. If the station had come up over the west, I would be seeing the sun would be behind me, as it were, illuminating the station. But instead, the sun was on the other side of the station, which tends to produce that deeper, darker amber color of the solar panels, which is nice, but they're definitely brighter and more well-defined in the image when the sun is behind me, which is what you saw in my earlier Crew 1 tracking video of the station. But that's a pretty sweet image, it is. Thank you, Kind Wolf. And hey, where's Wally? Good to see you. How dark is it in Florida? Not very. It's twilight now, firmly twilight. At this point, I can't even... Well, I can see Vega, the first star we looked at, and that's about it. I can't see most other stars at this point. But it doesn't need to be super dark for this. The telescope makes it look really dark, especially at this magnification. You're so zoomed in. This was with a 2x Barlow with the Blackmagic Micro Four Thirds sensor. So you're really punched in really good here. The crop factor on the Micro Four Thirds sensor is 2x on top of the 2x Barlow and the natural 2-meter focal length of the telescope. So the effective focal length is equivalent to 8 meters. And there are some new solar panels going up. Yeah, that's a good point. I wanted to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. So the station is going to have some upgrades to it soon. The Piers module is coming off the station. That's where one of the Progress modules is currently docked, or at least I think it is, unless it's already come off, but I don't think so. Progress 77, I think, is docked to Piers, and when it undocks, it's going to take Piers with it. That's a Russian section of the station that's coming off. It's one of the earliest sections of the station, so shortly it will no longer be part of the station, and it will be deorbited. Additionally, some new solar panels are going up, and those will be attached to the station. I think they'll be riding in the trunk section of Dragon. I think is how they're going to get up there. And they will be placed sort of in front of the existing panels. And so we should see that blocking the gaps between the panels. At this angle, with the way the solar panels are tilted, you can't really see the gaps between the panels all that well. But if you look at my earlier video tracking Crew 1 docked to the station going by Jupiter, you can definitely see the gaps between the panels. And so shortly, in about 6 of those panels, we'll now see new solar panels kind of tucked in there, partially blocking the existing panels, but they are more powerful, more efficient, and so they will help improve the energy generation of the space station and keep it operating for years to come. On top of that, there's a new laboratory module that the Russians will be launching and attaching to the station as well. Yeah, Scott Manley recently did a video talking all about these upgrades, so you should definitely go check that out if you want to find out all the detailed information there. But we should definitely see some changes in the shape of the station. We'll actually see that reflected in the images I'm able to produce on ideal, really good passes of the station. Milan says this is not live because if it's dark in Florida, it should be dark in New York, but the sun's been shining here for over an hour. Well, no. New York and Florida are two very different locations. And your higher latitude, as we approach summer months, you'll get more sunlight than we do down here in Florida. Actually, more hours of sunlight. But anyway, we're still, coming out of winter. Nevertheless, it's light out. Like, I can see blue sky. The sun's not up, but I can see blue sky. But the telescope, zoomed in like this, is going to be very dark. It is live. Here, you want me to wait for the camera? I'll wait for the camera. Here we go. So, as I said, you can't really see anything at the moment. It still looks completely dark, right? So, if I point... So, there, I'm pointing at one of the lights on my house. It's totally out of focus, of course, but you can see the light. You can also see the dust on the CCD. Now, this is live. I can... Here, listen to the scope. I'm going to move it away from the light. There it goes. Yeah. No trickery here. We are live on Astronomy Live. And Sam, you saw it in person too, so it's live. Alright, so I'm just going to play through the recording of the video one time here real quick, and then we'll wrap up the stream. So thank you all for coming and watching. I appreciate it. I know it's a really early morning for you guys, for most of you watching here in America. So, but yeah, we had some nice tracking at the space station there. Got to see Crew 1 dock to the station. It'll shortly be playing parking lot polo and moving around to the Zenith port where CRS-21 had previously been docked to the station, and it'll make room for incoming vehicles like Crew 2 or Boeing Starliner. Hopefully, now that's supposed to occur later this month or maybe early next month. If it occurs early next month and they time it just right, maybe I can actually track it when it's doing that, and then we will see a vehicle flying next to the space station. But we'll have to see. Alright, so that's going to do it for me here on Astronomy Live. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next time for some more images from my telescope. Until next time, clear skies, folks.